Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we are going to continue working on Module 4, Skill 6, writing a query with the equals criteria. If you remember in the last lesson that we had, we've already explained the meaning of queries, and we've also started working on writing simple queries on Access. What we will be doing today, we will just continue working on practicing how to write good queries on Microsoft Access. We will be concentrating on equals queries. As you know, there are so many different types of queries that we can do, but this is the simplest one that can be done on Access. Now, before we work on creating queries or having some examples of it, let's just remember the meaning of it. We said in the last lesson that query in general means a question that asks for information. So whenever I ask for having information, I can have a query, I can give people a query to do this work. Now, we also use some criteria with queries as we said. So, criteria can be any requirements that you can add to the query to specify what you need. For example, when I go to one of the students and I ask for having blue pens only, so the student will open the pencil case and will bring out blue pens only. But that doesn't mean she has brought out everything in the pencil case. She will bring out what I need from the query that I've given using the criteria that I have specified. So in this case, the query was to bring out pens from the pencil case, and I gave it criteria which is blue pens. So I have specified the type or the color of the pens that I need. It's the same thing when it comes to having databases. Since databases are so organized and so structured, we can also use queries to get some information from them. Instead of having all the information together, I can take the part that I need only to have a look at it or maybe to use it for something else. So on the database, we said that the query is a database tool that lets you search for specific data, returning a subset of the data. So I have the whole database table, and I want to have part of it as we said. I can create a query and I put some criteria with the query to specify what I need. So the result will be a subset of the data that I have in the database. Remember that subset means a small part of the whole. That means I'm not going to get all the result or all the table that I have in the database. I'll just have part of it, which is what I call it a subset. Now, we need to work on the activities that we have on this scale. We've already worked on activity 1, if you remember, 6.1. But in order to do this work, you don't need to use the book. We need to use worksheets. So we have worksheet number 1, which looks like the one that you see here. On the worksheet here, all you have to do is to write your name, read through the activities, and start to apply on the database table that you have. Now, on activity 6.2, it's asking you to create a query to find all male superheroes. It's going to be all the same as the one that we've done before, but in order to make sure that everybody understands well, we'll try to go back to activity 6.1 first. We'll do it together, and then we will do the rest of the work. So if you look again, in the activity, it says we need the superhero names of all the female superheroes. If you check back and you look at the table, we have superhero name here. This is the field that we need, first one. But when it comes to female superheroes, we might get confused at this point and we need to think about which field we need. In this case, we have to go to the database table, have a look at all the values and try to find the one that has female under it. So if you look here, on the gender, we have female, which means we need gender as well. So the two fields that we need on this query will be the superhero name and gender. We need to write them down. So we have superhero name and we have gender. We can also write them down in separate lines. Make sure they are clear. And when it comes to the criteria, The criteria will be related to one of the fields that we have already specified. Now it says we have female superhero, which means this is the requirement for one of the fields that we've specified. This field is absolutely gendered, so I have to write now gender equals, because this is equals query, it has to be female. And you need to be careful with the letter case, especially if you're using Access 2016, because it's so sensitive to the case of the letter. So if it's capital letter, you make it capital. If it's small letter, you make it small. Otherwise, it's not going to work or give you the expected result. Now we're done specifying the fields and the criteria that we need. It's time to start working on the database table. So we go now to Access and we start creating the query. The first step that you have to follow when you create a query is to close the database table. You can close it from this point here. Sometimes you might find this X on this part, so you go to the right side or the left side if your device is in different language, and then you click on it. But you don't have to click on the X that you have on the top, because this one will close all the application. Now we close the database table, and then on the Create tab, you click, and then you go to Query Design in Queries group. Click on it, and you will have this screen. On this screen, you will have this window here that says Add Tables. Sometimes this window can be separate, but you don't have to panic. In the Tables group here, you will be finding the names of all the database tables that you have. We already have one, which is superheroes, and this is the one that we need. So we have to click on it once, and then we click on Add Selected Tables, or we can double click on it, and you will get this small pop-up window, which will show you a list of all the fields that you have on this table. You need to specify the ones that you need for the query. So I need the superhero name, double click on it, and it's going to be added on this section. And you need the gender, so you double click on it as well, and it's going to be added to this section. Now, by mistake, if you add, for example, this one fly, and you realize that you don't need it in this query, all you have to do is you click next to the heading of the field. You have the cursor now, just press on backspace and then enter, and it's going to be erased. Now we've already put the fields that we need, which is superhero name and gender. Here you will see which table you've taken the fields from. And for sort, it will actually maybe sort some kind of elements that you have. We mean, for example, you want to have them from bigger to smaller. You want to have them from smaller to bigger. This is like an advanced topic that we'll be talking about in later. And you have show and hide if you want to show and hide the fields. So if you untick, it will be hidden. If you tick, it will be shown in this query. For criteria, this is the position where you will be putting all the criteria that you have for the query. And the last one, or sometimes you might have more than one query in some advanced levels. So you need to use or in this case to add the other one or the other requirement that you need for this field. Anyways, let's put the criteria that we need now, which is under gender, we have to click and then we type female. You just make sure that you have the correct spelling, because if you don't have it, it's not going to work as expected. Once you're done and you press enter, you see that you will be having double quotes around it. It will be added by default on the program. So the program automatically will add it by default. Now you are done creating the query. It's time to save your work. You have to go to File and then you click on Save. Once you click on Save, you will have this pop-up window that's asking you to save as. You need to save the query on it. So you have to give it a name. Make sure that you give it a suitable name in order to help you out find it later whenever you need to check it. So we created a query to find the female superhero, so we can name it Female Superheroes. And then we click on OK. And you will notice that you have now a new section on the left side if it's English, or the right side if it's Arabic. It says queries, and then you have the name of the query that you have just created. Now, if you close from here and you want to open or view this query, you can click on it 2 times, and you see the result now of the query. Just have the superhero names of the female superheroes. Now, if you find out that there is a mistake and you need to fix it, you can edit this query again. How? You make sure that you are clicking on it, and then you go to View in the Home tab, and then you click on Design View. This will take you back to the query if you need to fix it, and then you can view it again by saving your work, and then you close, double click on it to open it, or you can just go and run from here. On the Query Design tab, click on Run in the Results group, and you will get the result as well. Just make sure that your query is saved before you start viewing, because it's not going to be shown until you save your work. Now we are done with this activity or revising it. You can go now and try to do the next activity. Is 6.2. Now I'll do it with you here. I'll read on the sheet to help you out understand how to do the work. On 6.2, it's asking you to create another query on the same database table. You need to have another query to find all the male superheroes. You need to find the names, and there is also another field that you need. So what you have to do is you will write the fields that you need here, write the criteria that you need, and then create your query on the database table. The time expected for doing this activity is 10 minutes only. So I'll be waiting for you 10 minutes, and then we will explain the next activity. Now, on activity 3 or 6.3, you will notice that it's asking you to work with some Boolean fields. As you have worked on text fields, you can do the same with Boolean fields. So on 6.3, it's asking you to create a query to find the suit color of all superheroes who can fly. Let me do this activity with you. Now, if you want to do it, all you have to do is to underline what you need. So you specify the fields and you specify the criteria and then you create the query. Dealing with Boolean fields is going to be same as working with text fields, number fields, or whatever the fields or the type of fields that you want to work on. So if I want to start working, I need to underline the names of the fields that I can find or all the information that I need or can extract what I need from it in the query. So if you see here, it says you need to find the suit color of the superheroes who can fly. Now we can use this information in order to create the query or to specify the fields and the criteria. Just to check back if you don't remember the fields names, double click on the table, have a look at all the fields that you need, look at the heading, and then you can go and start working. We'll close this query, and we also have to close this table because we need to create the query after that. So if you notice, here we have suit color and we have fly. Let's add them to the fields because these are the fields that we need. So we can say that the fields that we need are suit, color, and fly. When it comes to the criteria, those who can fly. So the criteria will be related to fly field. But this field is Boolean, as we said. For Boolean, remember that we just have two answers, yes and no. Because we want the ones who can fly, that means the answer must be yes. So the criteria that we need in this case is the value of fly equals yes. This is the value that we need. And to make sure that we are so specific, we can have it with capital letters at the beginning, so we avoid being in trouble if you have it in small letter and you have any version that is 2016 or before. Now we can go to the database table or the database. Make sure that the table that you need is closed. Now you go to the Create tab, Query Design. In Queries group, double click on the name of the table that you need. From the list here, you specify the fields that you need. We need suit color. You can scroll down. Have suit color before fly because we need to have it first. So the suit color of the superheroes who can fly. Now, on the fly, we have the criteria, which is yes. So type yes, and then we press enter. All done. We have to save now. So we go to File, Save, we name it. We can name it with a suitable name like Superheroes who can fly, or flying superheroes if you would like to use them. Now click on OK. And here it is, superheroes who can fly if you hover over it. Now you can run to see, as we said, you can click on Run from the Query Design tab, or you can close the whole query and then you double click on the query to open it again, or to edit and see how it looks. Or you can double click on the query itself after you close it and you will see the result of it. I'm gonna run now. Here it is, the superhero or the suit color of the superheroes who can fly. You see that all of them are ticked, which means they can fly. If you get back to the table, you will see that some of them cannot fly and they are not actually put here in the query that we have created. Remember, if you notice that there is anything wrong with your query, all you have to do is edit the design. So you go to the query again, go to the Home tab. In the Views group, click on View button and go to Design View. And here it is. You can edit, make the changes, save your work, and then you open it or see the result again. Now, I expect that you are done with this query with me. So I will jump to explain the next activity, which is 6.4. On 6.4, you actually have to work with numeric fields. So it says on the activity, create a query to find the first name and the second name of all superheroes who are exactly 164 centimeters tall. Now you need to write the fields that you need, specify them from the scenario here, and then put the criteria as well. After you do that, you're going to do the same as the ones that we've made with the text and even Boolean fields. So I expect that you will be doing this work in 10 minutes. Take your time, write the fields, the criteria, and create your criteria in the database table. And then we will be back to do 6.5. time to work on activity 6.5, which will let you deal with another fields that will have date and time. So we will work with date fields now. If you see on the activity, it says create a query to find the superhero name and height of the superheroes born on 5/3/1983. You need to do the same. You specify the fields and then put the criteria. After you do this work, you go create your query and then enter the criteria, save your work, and get the result. In order to make it easy for you, I will be working with you on this activity. So let's start working. As we said, we need to underline all the fields that we need. So we have, it says you need the superhero name and height of the superheroes born on 5/3/1983. Now, if you need to check the table again to see the names of the fields and try to find them, you can do that. If you remember them, you can start working. So if we go now to the database table again, let's look at the names of the fields. If you don't remember which one is which and which one you need. So we need the superhero name, we need the height, and we need the one that has the value of the date of birth, which is date of birth. Go and write them down. I need superhero name, I need height, and I need date of birth. For criteria, the value of the requirement is under date of birth. So I have to write it down here. I have date of birth equals 5/3/1983. Now it's time to create the query on the database. So to do that, before we do it, just notice that in some systems, people used to have the month before the day, which we actually have here. It's already applied here. If you look at the date of birth, we actually have the month before the day. So we need to do the same when we create the query. Anyways, let's close the database table, go to the Create tab, Query Design button in the Queries group, and then you go click on Add Tables. Be careful if you see queries here, you don't have to panic. Make sure that you click on Tables, double click on Superheroes, have the list, choose what you need. You have superhero name in the same order. You need to have height and then date of birth. The value needs to be under date of birth, so you go to criteria now, and then you type, as we said, you have to put the month before the day. So we have, it's 3, so you put 3, and then you put 5, which is the day, and then you put 1983. You press enter. If you notice now, once you press enter, you will see the hashtags before and after the date, which specifies the type of data that you have. It's date. So by default, the program will do this work automatically. It will put this symbol to refer to the date. When it comes to Boolean and numeric fields, you will notice that they have nothing around the values. And when it comes to the text, you will notice that whenever you enter text as a criteria, it's going to be inside double quotes. Now you go save your work, file, save, name it, give it a suitable name, heroes born on 5/3/1983. Click on OK. Now you can run or close and double click to see the result. You can click or run from here. Here it is. We have one superhero, and this is the date of birth, which is 3/5/1983, which is 5/3. So day 5, month 3, 1983. If you have a problem and you need to fix it, you have to go, as we said, click on the query in the Home tab, Views group, click on View, Design View, and then you make the changes, save, and then see the result again. If you don't get any results, you might have two different things. Firstly, you might have no result like this, which means you don't have a superhero who may be born on this date, or you maybe have a problem with entering the value history. Maybe you have put the day before the month, which means you're not going to get the result that you have expected. Just you just go, you just go, check back, and see what you have in the design, try to fix it, save your work, and get the result again. Now, I expect that you have done this activity with me as well. If you would like to try activity 6.6, that is asking you to create as many queries as you like and try many different things, you can try it yourself. What we have done today, we have practiced to write different queries on Microsoft Access. I want you to keep practicing. Try to have many different types of queries, write the scenario of the query, and then specify the fields, the criteria, and then create your query, save your work, and get the result that you would like to get. That was everything for today. Make sure that you clean up the place that you were working on. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.